and rather a very different introduction to this video today. This is Deerdale Lane, and this is what used to be called Clipston Forest, till a large holiday company turned up, and then all of a sudden it got changed to Sherwood Pines. But we're not near Centre Parks and Sherwood Pines bit. This at one time of day was the place and the only place to come if you wanted to see woodlarks in Nottinghamshire. And I'm just off the A614 and driving west through the forest because it's a moth I'm trying for again today, and I'm retrying for Emperor Moth, but I'm using a slightly different tactic today. And today's method of entrapment, so to speak, is to use these. There are 3 female emperor moths in here, and there is a male. One of these 2 here has been mated, and one at the bottom of the cage here has hatched out about an hour ago. All we need to do now, just put this cage here, sit down next to it and wait to see if anyone comes in. Well, the trap is set then. I dare say the male that's in here will start to become active now the sun's out and the temperature's just starting to rise. Not the warmest of days today, but should be fine for species that emerges early in the year anyway, usually late March and into April. The males fly during the day. Hopefully one will come into here. Now I've chosen the old Clipston Forest or Sherwood Pines because only recently, for the first time, Emperor Moth was recorded at nearby Centre Parks, and then the very next day, I believe it was, a male was attracted to a lure run in the garden at nearby Clipston village. So there's obviously a population in this area, and that's the first time. There's certainly no modern records of Emperor Moth from in this area, and whether it was here historically, I've no idea, but it was known historically from the Sherwood Forest area. So with this site at one time being heathland, you would have expected Emperor Moth to have occurred. But it hasn't been seen anywhere in the Sherwood Forest area for well over 100 years, I believe. It's nice that it seems to have made a comeback, and hopefully it's in this area. Now I've got a good vantage point here. There's an old clearing that was cleared a couple of years ago. It's been replanted with Scots pine by the looks of it, and there's some young birch regrowth. There's bramble around here, so all the indications are that it's suitable habitat for Emperor Moth. Let's hope one is nearby and active. We just wait now. Well, I've just left the cage to get some sort of scenic views, setting the scene. The cage is right on the very right hand side of the screen, just in front of that large pine tree. But this area was cleared a few years ago, replanted, and the new pines, the next crop of trees, is well underway. was just down from here a number of years ago that, well, in the 1990s, where if you wanted to see woodlark in Nottinghamshire, you'd have to come down here. It was a bit of an undesirable spot. Cars were frequently broken into, but you could get your quarry. Since then though, woodlark's pretty much all over the place and a very easy species to connect with. Let's hope that Emperor Moth is equally as easy a species to connect with here. It would be a new grid square for this part of Clipston Forest, Sherwood Pines. So let's hope for some success. Little bits of cumulus cloud now, but hopefully we're in for a decent spell of sunshine and that will raise the temperature. Now I thought it perhaps only right that I show you a bit closer up one of these superb moths. They really are stunners, and they're the only member of the Saturniidae family that we have here in the UK. This is an absolute cracking moth. In fact, this one emerged yesterday. I think this is one of the two that are unmated. But what a marvellous moth. The male is slightly more orange in its markings and smaller, and the antenna are distinctly feathered in the male. But it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? In Nottinghamshire, historically it was a moth of the heathlands of Sherwood Forest, and for some reason it died out in Sherwood Forest, and then a couple of decades ago now it started appearing in the Trent Valley. Started at Attenborough, and at first I think many people were rather suspicious of the record, thinking that someone had chucked a load of caterpillars out of the car windows that drove by, but they hadn't, and the moth has spread up through the Trent Valley since. It goes right up from Nottingham right up to sites at Newark, and then topside of Newark it's in the Retford area, north of Retford, in the Ardle Valley. There's odd records there, but it's certainly in the Ardle Valley Nature Reserve area now. And then this year, within the space of 2 days, we have records from the Clipston Forest, Sherwood Pines area. 2 males attracted to a pheromone lure at Centre Parks, and then the day after, a male attracted to a pheromone lure run in a Clipston garden. Well, it's now 10 to 1. Still nothing, and a nice lengthy sunny spell here. A few more insects are becoming active. I've seen peacock butterfly and a couple of male orange tips knocking about, and we have got, or have had, a woodlark thinking of bursting into song. It's tempted to, but then it's thought better of it. But nice to know they're still here in these clearings within Sherwood Pines. But we remain Emperor Mothless. Well, we've failed, even with 3 females. At least 2 have been actively calling at some time, but they appear to have stopped now. And even the male here hasn't got active, only very briefly for about a minute, and that was it. So, although it looks like there's no Emperor Moth in this part of Sherwood Pines, can't rule it out. Maybe a slightly warmer day, although it's been absolutely beautiful in the sunshine. So we will have to try somewhere else. Maybe it's a run down to the Trent Valley for these three ladies.